right, we got here's Ryan. Happy New Year, Ryan. Good to see you. Something's changed and some things stay the same. Ryan's always on the calls. Got Heather. Hello, Heather. Zoe, always good to see you.
Hello.
Awesome. We got the crew. We got a little Rochelle happening here. Awesome, awesome. All right, Rochelle, now we're going to teach them today. We've got these channel accounts, right? We got stuff like this Flex account. And what the lead companies are telling us what, Rochelle, is just find out when they want to go see the house and go unlock the door and show them the house. So what I'm going to teach the team today is they fundamentally have to learn something new. Well, it's old, but new, because what we taught them before, Rochelle, was what? The lead called in, whether it was, pay-per-click or whatever, and you qualify them. You ask them all these LP mama questions to find out, their motivation, if they're working with an agent, how much they could spend. So real estate 2022 is going to be a lot different most of the time, Rochelle, right? Is that they got a lot of these leads coming in through these channel accounts. The lead company says, just find out when they want to go see it and go show the house. So what used to happen, Rochelle, was when I started 18 years ago, our buyers and sellers didn't have the internet. So they'd have to call me to ask a lot of questions. So it was kind of comfortable for me to ask them a bunch of questions when they called me or they stopped by the office. Rochelle, fundamentally, what's different about real estate now, as far as the consumer is concerned, to the consumer of 18 years ago? What does today's consumer have that the other consumers didn't?
You know what? I got a little distracted because my phone was ringing. Ask me the question one more time. The prior buyers versus the now buyers.
Yeah, when I started 18 years ago, my buyers, sellers didn't have something that today's buyers and sellers have.
Right. So we have the internet. We have access to everything. Yeah.
Right. Everything. So they don't want to be barraged with a million questions, because most buyers, sellers, they feel like they've done their due diligence.
Right.
When they call you, they've checked Redfin, they've checked Zillow, they've checked Realtor.com and every other site they could, and spent hours every night after dinner typing away. They finally decided they want to see this house, Rochelle. That's all they want to do. They don't want to sit on the phone and get barraged with questions. So
that's right.
So this is what used to happen. They would call me, I would qualify them, show a house.
Yep.
Okay. Now it's they call us, show the house, and then you got to qualify them. It's reversed. So that's what I'm going to teach you guys how to do step by step by step today, Heather. So this works really, really well. So just take my lead, just take notes, and I'll tell you what to do. I'll be a little directive here, Zoe. So the first thing, Zoe, I'm going to share with you, hopefully you follow the stuff pretty closely. You've been to a McDonald's a restaurant called McDonald's, Zoe? And have you had their French fry?
Yes.
Do you think the kid is making the French fry back there? Or do you think the system that Ray Kroc created is making that French fry back there?
The system.
Yep. So I'm going to give you guys today is a system, right? You don't have to overthink it. I'm going to teach you exactly what to do. That's going to give you a great outcome on every appointment, step by step. I did this on last call, so it might be a two-part call. We'll see how far we get. So first thing that we're going to do, Zoe, is when we get an appointment, is we hang up with them. You got to decide what to do now. I'm going to give you three options of things that we can do, Shauna. Number one, I hope you're at least going to text them. We talked about your V card on other calls, right? And send them your contact information, Shauna. That's good. It's okay good. I'm going to give you two other things that are even better. I highly recommend, Shauna, I don't care if it's just 20 or 30 seconds, you send them a little video of yourself. Hey, Mike, this is Shauna. I just want to put a face to the name, and this is what I look like. So when we get to the house, you'll know it's me. Looking forward to seeing you. And by the way, Shauna, don't forget to ask me about those 2 off-market properties that are coming to the market later on this month. Oh, a little teaser maybe, right? So video. Also, Shauna, it works really well. Are you familiar with an app called Calendly?
No.
So Calendly is an appointment setting, like a software, if you will, that what happens is once I get off the phone with you, Shauna, I'm going to send you a link that says, hey, Shauna, just confirming our appointment tomorrow at 5 o'clock at 123 Main Street. Why is this tool highly effective? Because you know what you have to do now, Shauna, is you have to say yes. You have to click on it manually, right? Which psychologically makes you commit to meeting with me tomorrow at 5 o'clock and not ghosting me on there. Because I'm going to get a response from that. When you click on it, yep, Shauna confirmed she's going to meet with you. Also, Calendly does 2 other things that you like, Shauna. It allows you in that little email thing that goes out to them, that notification. You could drop in links if you wanted to some of your reviews or our website or any other information you wanted to share with them very easily through Calendly. Also, what it does, Shauna, if the appointment is, say, maybe not tomorrow, a day or two from now, 3 days from now, this weekend maybe, it does the same thing that your doctors and dentists do. They send you a reminder. Hey, Shauna, just a reminder, you got a dentist appointment tomorrow at 12, and then you might get one tomorrow morning. Hey, Shauna, dentist appointment in 3 hours. It will remind them of your appointment that you set with them on there, which again, increases the show rate on the initial appointment there. So,
Mike, is it Calendly? Can you spell that? I
yeah.
want to make sure I'm writing it.
No, anytime, yeah, good break there, Shauna. Any questions, guys? I go pretty quick, slow me down. So Calendly,
Oh, just LY. Okay.
yeah, Calendly on there.
And then Rochelle, remind me later on how we would work that, because we have to put it on our follow-up boss as a appointment and send it too. So,
Okay,
but we can talk about that later.
but very effective anyway. They get a much better, what we're doing here first, guys, is making sure they get to that first appointment to meet with you. Because remember, Shauna, the first conversation, you built like no rapport. Oh, you want to see that house? Great. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, great. I'll see you. That's pretty much it. There's no connection yet. So I'm helping to build rapport. All right. So that's how we start out. Number two, none of these are trivial, Shauna. So we'll go through them step by step. Step number one, make sure, Heather, your car is clean. Do never go to an appointment with a dirty car. Heather, do you think as soon as you get to this appointment, that consumer is going to be judging you?
Absolutely.
on everything. So yeah, as trivial as that may seem, that's going to work against you in a big way. So I always make sure my car is clean before I go on any appointments. Number two, Shauna, my paperwork. I'm going to get judged. Am I organized? Any paperwork we need them to sign, fill out, or any of that stuff, right? It's all well organized. I always bring, by the way, Shauna, copies of the listings I'm going to show them because I use them to close them. So I close a buyer. Sometimes I see agents are with buyers showing properties. I want my buyers to buy a property. So right from the beginning, Shauna, I'm helping them narrow down because I give them the MLS sheets. So at the end of every home, I ask them kind of what they liked or didn't like. We might make a note on there. But then what I do, Shauna, is I ask them to write a number on a scale of 1 to 10, how much they like this home. So after I show them 3 or 4 homes, it becomes very clear which one we should write on, the one with the biggest number, the one they like the most. So make sure all your paperwork's neat, in order, right? Looks professional. Next, Shauna, is I always wear the same color outfit to my first appointment. Do you know what color it is?
Navy blue.
Yes. Do you know why?
It's something about a calming, trusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the subconscious mind, navy blue builds rapport and trust faster than any other color in the whole spectrum. This is why police officers, firefighters, McDonald's again, why they use that color quite often as uniforms. On there, excellent. So I got my navy blue. Shauna, next bonus question. I'm going to wear navy blue. What the style of clothing should I wear? Should I be super fancy? Should I go get an Armani suit? Should I be in jeans and a t-shirt?
It depends on the clients. You don't want to overdress them. So if you can look into them ahead of time and see kind of how
Yep.
they are or what they do for a living, that helps.
Excellent.
You want to be a step. Yeah, you don't want to.
One step.
You want them to be contractors and then you're dressed all like.
Exactly. You'll fall out of rapport quickly. That'll be very uncomfortable, right? So yes. So the general rule, Shauna, is you're going to dress 1 notch above the price point. So if you're in a blue collar price point, you're going to wear more polos like I'm wearing today. If it's like luxury, I would wear a suit if I'm a guy, right? So 1 notch above the price point. Shauna, there was a guy that was on stage at Summit. He works the Washington, D.C. market, which is super competitive, I'll tell you, if you don't know. And he has something like an 87% conversion rate on his listing appointments. He attributes one thing to that high conversion rate, very high, I would tell you. What do you think it is? Why does he get nearly every listing appointment he goes on? Based on what he told us, what do you think the number one reason is?
I'm trying to remember who he was and what it was. I remember. I remember him, but I'm trying to put the two together. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yes, I will tell you. He told us it was preparation. He spends sometimes 3 or 4 hours prepping for a listing appointment. Kind of like you mentioned earlier, Shauna, he stalks them. He learns their dog's name, the kids' names, what they like to do for fun. He learns every comp, every new listing, everything that's sold in the last 2 or 3 months. There's nothing that's going to come up at that table he's not prepared for. Every objection handler he goes over 3 or 4 times and they ask him to cut his commission. He's going to smile and say, yeah, that's a great question. I get it all the time, but no, I can't. So preparation, guys, is the key to all success. Shauna, we talked about this earlier. You're being judged. What if you show up to this house and the buyer says, hey, Shauna, what happened to that cute, red house around the corner? And you have no idea what they're talking about. Goodbye. You just probably lost a lead on there. So you got to prepare, guys. Got to prepare on there. All right, next one. So we talked about it briefly, Shauna, the comps. Do you think these consumers have been on Zillow every day, like months and months and months?
Absolutely.
They know every comp. They know every house that came, went, right? Zillow now shows them what houses sold and how much they sold for. You've got to know the data better than they do. And the only way you can do that is prepare, study for it on there. Excellent. Also, we mentioned this one, Shauna. Before you run out the door, is look on social media and find out who you're meeting. What are their interests? What do they dress like, right? What's their family dynamics? They have a lot of kids, no kids, maybe pets. Maybe they're a big dog lover, right? All that. Awesome. Next. Shauna, do you know what the law of reciprocity is?
No.
Anybody? Anyone know what the law of reciprocity is? Ooh.
Isn't it what you give, what you put out, you'll get back?
Yeah, not what you give, but as long as you give something to them.
What you give out?
Yeah, you give them something, Shauna, and they will feel guilty not repaying you. How do they repay you? They work with you on there. There's another whole coaching company I'll share with you. I don't know if you're familiar, Rochelle. That's their whole premise. They have one premise. Go to all your past clients or a neighborhood you want to work and just knock on the door and give them a gift on there. That's their whole premise. It works on there. So you guys can figure it out. Maybe Rochelle, you can help them. But when they get to their first appointment, what are they going to give them? I will tell you, like Jason Ferris, they give them a little swag bag with the Fred's Yes logo on it, with a notepad in there, so they can take notes about the properties on there. A folder sometimes with our logo, something. Yeah, we want to give them something to feel guilty about not working with us if they take it from us on there. All right, Shauna, back to you. So now I'm going to back up to the appointment, right? You're doing good. I need to talk to someone, so you're doing good. So I just got off the phone with Shauna. I sent her the little video. I sent her the Calendly link, right? And she wants to go look at the house this afternoon, right? So I got my car clean. Now I'm going to go over to the house, Shauna. I do something from the office to the house while I'm driving over. Matter of fact, I do a couple things. What am I doing?
I don't know about you, but I'm putting on a hype song.
That's it. You got it. That's it.
Okay.
You need both. So I call it getting in state. I learned this from Tony Robbins. That's it. We all have life. I got a kid, right? We got COVID challenges out there. And I got everyone's trying to travel right now. Getting an airline flight that doesn't cancel is near impossible. It's bad. So yeah, Shauna, I turn up my music a little bit higher. I get my hype song on and I get into state because I want my energy level to be really positive and nice and high when I get to the house on there. The second thing I'm doing, Shauna, is I'm visualizing the outcome of my appointment. Usually it's them signing the paperwork to buy a house or list with me on there. And I can see them signing that paper. I'm excited. I'm so excited. It almost feels real to me. While I'm driving over, of course, the other cars think I'm crazy because I'm singing, but I don't care, right? I'm getting into state on my way over. Excellent, Shauna. All right, Shauna, what time do I get to the first appointment? So make sure you guys are taking accurate notes. These are the little details that make the difference between sale and no sale. Shauna, what time do I get there?
At least 15 minutes early.
Yes.
I would prefer to go a little bit early if it's farther in case there's traffic, but.
Have to. Matter of fact, this is a pro tip. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but what I always do during the day, if I have an appointment in the afternoon, is I check the address in my Waze apps to make sure how long will it really take me with construction or an accident or something, because that gets backed up. Yeah, they know there's traffic, but they still will not be happy if you show up late So what Sean is sharing with us is a very famous Vince Lombardi quote. If you guys, he's one of the most successful college football coaches, Shauna, of all time. On the first day of practice, Shauna, he told all the young football players this: when you get to my practice 15 minutes early, you're on time. When you get to my practice on time, you're late. Don't ever be late. So yeah, for driver personalities, especially, Shauna, 15 minutes is on time. That's how I roll. Like if you're late, I had a meat business, Shauna, that we had to leave. The trucks left at 4 a.m. If you weren't at the loading docks by 4:03, I left you there and you didn't work that day. Like drivers have no patience for losing time on there. So 15 minutes early, maybe 20 minutes, Shauna. Next question, Shauna, where do you park? Oh, hit the mute button there. Hit the mute button.
I would park either across the street or down just a little bit. That way that they can pull in front of the house.
Yeah, we're selling the house. We're not selling your house, your car, Shauna. We don't want it to be part of the equation. We don't want it to be an obstruction, a distraction. So perfect. Across the street, down a house or two, around the corner. We want it, it's easy for them to come up, maybe hopefully pull right in front of the house if no one's parked there, right? The worst thing, I get this sometimes, is the driveway. Never park in the driveway for a lot of reasons, I will tell you on there. So perfect, Shauna. So we're across the street, 15, 20 minutes early. What happens next, Shauna?
After you park,
Yep.
if we can, if there's not another agent in there, I would go in and open the windows, close toilet lids.
Yes,
I would
perfect.
open the blinds so that they can see the natural light that comes in.
Yes. People, Shauna, do people buy homes logically or emotionally?
Emotionally.
Yep. So you want to appeal to as many of their five senses as you can. So first I go with temperature, especially if the temperatures are off a little bit, it's a little bit cooler out. So I'll turn up the heat just a little bit, Shauna. So when they come in, they're like, oh, it's nice and warm in here, right? If it was chilly outside or vice versa, it was hot, I make it a little bit cooler on there. So first is temperature. Next is the lighting, right? I turn on as many lights as I can. Like if I have enough time, Shauna, I'll turn on every little light. They got a little lamp by the desk or this. I learned this from my car dealerships. If you ever seen like a car dealership, that showroom is lit up like a football stadium. It makes the cars look better. That's why it's so bright. So lights, toilet seats you mentioned, right? People have kids sometimes, they forget to flush. That could distract a showing for sure on there. Great. So the house looks great, Shauna, all set. I've made beds before, Shauna. Beds are not made. I'll make a bed, waiting for them to get there. Okay, Shauna, house looks great. You're all prepped. You're in state. The buyer shows up. So you're going to greet them outside. So when I'm walking towards you, Shauna, I'll give you a high level pro tip. Do you think my cadence, do you think I'm walking a little slower than usual? My normal cadence or a little quicker than usual?
Slower?
Yep. Do you know why?
I don't know. I feel like you go too fast. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. So let me tell you,
Yeah.
the slower you speak and the slower you walk, the more confident you appear to be. When we're nervous, Shauna, we walk a little quickly, we move more quickly, and we speak more quickly. The number one complaint I get from consumers with the agents I coach is lack of confidence. So it's a good way to combat that. Move slowly and diligently, very deliberately on there, okay? So now I'm approaching you, I'm not crawling, but definitely very confidently, right? Chins up, I'm making strong eye contact with you the whole time. Now, as long as they're not COVID scared, I'm gonna probably reach out to shake their hand while I'm maintaining the strong eye contact. So here's a little technique I use, Shauna. Again, you gotta feel out, you gotta make sure you get the right people, right? Understand people's level of comfort with being touched. So if you're okay with shaking the hand, and I can see you're like smiling, it's going good. What I'll do then is I'll take my other hand and grab the back of your hand. So actually your hand's in the middle of my two hands and I'll shake you. That's a much warmer, firmer relationship building handshake when appropriate with the right group on there. As soon as we're done doing that, Shauna, I'm going to say something to you every time. What do you think is the next thing that comes out of my mouth? It's a strategy, I'll tell you. It'll get you, I'll give you another hint. It gets you to like me a lot more very quickly. Any idea?
I'm not sure exactly which way you're going to go with this one, but
We're shaking hands.
yeah.
So very simply, Shauna, I'm gonna find a way to pay you a compliment.
Okay, I was gonna say, it depends on if they have kids with them or,
Right, whatever, it could be the kids, but if you showed up in a new car, I said, oh, but Sean, is that the new BMW 3 Series, right? Or if you're wearing a nice outfit, maybe your glasses, you got really cool glasses on. Hey, those glasses are awesome, right? Or the kids, oh my God, your kids look so cute, whatever. Instantly, you're gonna like me more when I pay you a compliment on that. So don't skip that step. Again, this is where we get rushing sometimes. I think we forget about the impact of stuff like that. A compliment will get you a few brownie points instantly on there. So we will pay them a compliment. Let's see, we did that one. No, I'm sure I don't skip any steps. Okay, so now, Shona, after I've paid you a compliment, right, we're gonna go in and start looking at the house. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna drop what I call at least three knowledge bombs. What's a knowledge bomb? Something I know you don't know, that I know more about real estate than you do. Because somehow I got to convince you I'm smarter than you on this appointment in a very limited time frame. So I have a handful of ones that I use. If you guys want to use mine, feel free to steal them. Otherwise, come up with your own on here. So Shauna, just as we start looking at homes, right? And if I notice based on you weren't using all cash, maybe you're using a mortgage or a lower down payment, I would ask you this. Hey, Shauna, has anyone shared the difference with you between MIP and PMI? And no one has ever known the answer to that question in 18 years, I will tell you. In fact, I would tell you 99% of agents don't know what that is. So that's number one. Number two, hey, Shauna, has anyone shared with you what the current absorption rate is and how that's going to affect your purchase? Oh, they haven't. Can I explain? Right. So I'll use absorption rate as a term that they don't know much about. Appreciation. Hey, Shauna, see this house that we're looking at here today? Did you know just 8 months ago, this house was selling for $450 and now is going to sell for $515? Is that crazy? Right. So I started peppering in my expert knowledge of that real estate and how it affected homes. Next are closing costs. Right. Again, I'm not a loan officer. I'm not giving them an exact number, but I'm going to fill them in on exactly what's going to cost to buy this particular house, again, because I know they don't know those numbers. So anyway, you got to come up with at least three. Those are some good ideas to steal. And you're going to knowledge bomb them. And then when they don't know, you're like, really? Not even a loan officer? Wow, I'm glad we met. Let me share with you. And this is no joke. This is not to pat myself on the back, Shauna, but I will tell you, after I do this, about 50% of the time, the consumer, know what they say to me? Wow, you're so smart. We're so happy we found you. Like, no joke, guys. It really works that way. So steal those and don't skip that step on there. All right, Shauna, next you need to determine the primary decision maker, right? A lot of times more than one person shows up. Could be whatever combination of people. Do you know how to determine who the primary decision maker is, the one that you're gonna have to focus 80% of your sales closing skills on?
I can usually tell just by talking to them and their body language. And I don't know if there's any one thing in particular, but
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you have good intuition, you have good EQ, but let me share with the rest of the team who may not have that higher EQ like you. You're gonna ask them this one question. Hey, who wants to go in first? And one person's gonna speak up and say one of two things, Shauna. Hey, I'll go first. Or, hey, honey, why don't you go first? In either case, whoever is the director is the primary decision maker of the family.
good idea.
If you're on a listing appointment, Shauna, very similar. Hey, who wants to show me around? One person gonna say, hey, I'll show you around, or right, someone, hey, honey, why don't you show them around? That's the person who spoke up is your primary decision maker. So again, you don't ignore the other party, but this is the one you really got to convince and win over and close on there. So we got to figure that out on the first appointment. You need to come up with Shauna. So now we showed the house. Now, big recommendation here is if you get on that ALM call, right, and they want to look at one house, I'm always going to ask them what other properties they have identified they'd like to see in addition to, or I'm going to recommend a couple properties, Shauna, on the first appointment always. Do you know why? What's the goal of the first appointment, Shauna?
For me to write an offer.
Right? I love it. I love it. Now let's just say they don't write an offer. What if they're not going to buy this particular house?
I want to make sure that I have other properties lined up because I mean, for me personally, I'd rather show them 3 at one time than go home and then go out and show them another one.
That's another reason. It's going to save time. That's, again, Tony Robbins, the power of chunking, very effective, right? in time management. But here's the other reason, Shauna, is if this one house was not the house, my primary goal of appointment 1 is to build rapport and trust. I probably don't have enough time, especially if you're an amiable or an analytic, which is most of the population. It's going to take longer than 1 quick showing for you to like and trust me. So I always set 2 or 3. Maybe you'll buy them, but more importantly, I'm going to really work my magic on you and build up that relationship during those 2 or 3 showings on there. That's why I do it. So let's just say we finished the showing, Shauna, and it's not the house. Hey, Shauna, thanks. This one's really close, but we're just not feeling it right now. How do you, well, tell me your language. What happens there with you, Shauna?
I would ask them what the things that they disliked about the home that the most and what they wish that they had in the house that wasn't there.
Okay, I like
I
that.
would know how to help them.
Right, so keep going though. I'm leading you a little bit. So, okay, Shauna, yeah, we need a little bigger kitchen. We thought this would work, but my wife really likes to cook and we need that, double oven, whatever it is. So we're going to keep looking. Continue the conversation. We're standing on the driveway right now, as an example.
Oh, role play. Oh, no.
Let's show it. I just want to see where you're going.
Shauna, set the next appointment. Set the next.
Thank you, Michelle. Guys, this is for everyone. Thank you, Michelle.
I
So,
thought you
Shauna,
wanted me to role play it.
I'm not going to role play, but here's a mistake. Shauna, this is no joke. I listen to hundreds of recorded calls and 99% of them end this way. Okay, great. If you see anything, just give us a call.
Oh, yeah, no.
That happens all the time. So guys, here's the rule after today's call. You're on an appointment and either they're going to write an offer to buy the house or you have to set the next appointment. Now, next appointment, Shauna, could be a buyer consult. It could be to look at more homes. It could be to go over a strategy to find an off-market property to help them maybe. I don't care what the appointment is, but you never leave an appointment without the next appointment already set up. Whether it's next day, next weekend, next month, I don't care. 2 months from now, always, always, always on a big mistake. We just let that lead go and we're like, okay, call us. Here's the bad news, Shauna. I can tell you're not doing that, but the other agents, they think the buyer's going to call them back up. They're not calling them back up. They've got hundreds of other agents to unlock the next door from them. They don't need to call you back up on there. Okay. Right. Next. So now the showing ended, right? You set this appointment, Shauna. What do you do next? There's another step here. I want to add in.
Oh, you're still with them or?
No, they've gone, right? So they went home. You're going to meet with them maybe this weekend to look at more homes. So what should you do between Monday and Saturday, Sunday?
Well, the first thing I would do is go home and enter all of their information into my system, into my follow-up boss.
Yeah. Can you repeat that? I want you to repeat that for everyone else because I know most agents don't do that. So what do you do after the appointment, Sean? You actually go back and what?
I go home and I open up my follow-up boss and I enter in all the information, things that they liked, things that they didn't like, if they've talked to a lender, if they haven't. I would send them a reference for a lender if they didn't have one. And even if they did have one, I'd still send a reference, tell them to get it second checked. I'd set them up on a home search.
Good.
And then I would send them a message saying,
what kind of
really
message?
nice. Just a video message. Saying it was really nice seeing this.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again the next time. And I went ahead and set up a home search for you.
Then I would also,
Yada,
I
yada.
also love putting a teaser in there as well. Right? Maybe tease them like, hey, I've got a couple new properties that Nazar told me were coming to the market. I can't wait to talk to you about this weekend or, right, some, whatever, a little teaser to, right? But it's a video, again, how much you like them, how great it was working with them. And now that you understand them better, you're 100% certain you can help them find the right house in the right neighborhood, something along those lines. This will cement the deal home, right? You got to follow up with something very similar. A little video like that would be perfect. Now you have a really good chance of them showing up this weekend for your next appointment on there. And like everything else Shauna said, send them some properties and all that other good stuff on there. But now at least you've got steps, right? I kind of walked you through from ALM to every single thing you need to do on that appointment to close it on there. but you got to practice it. I'm just giving you the stuff like showing off the top of my head here, my notes over here, I'm cheating with a little bit. But you've got to come up, each and every one of you, with your style. Like this is Coach Mike, what I developed. But what's your style? What are the questions you ask, Shauna? What are the clothing that you wear, right? On there, what's the compliment that you like to give? What do you like to say on your video? And make it your own. You're all individuals. You're all independent contractors. I gave you the framework. And with that, you will have very successful, you'll have a much higher close rate. You have a much higher show rate on there. So any questions, thoughts? It works, I'll tell you.
I think what's key to this, and I apologize for jumping late as I was finishing up with an attorney, is that when you are able to provide value to a customer, and most of the time that value, if it's something that is something that they can't get on their own or they don't know or understand, then that's when you differentiate yourself from all the other realtors and all the other door openers that are out there, right? Because if you get a call from Zillow and you go show them a property and all you are is just opening the door and looking pretty and having them go inside the house and look at the property and be like, oh, this is a beautiful house. Do you want to make an offer? They'll be like, yeah, okay, cool. They'll treat you like you're garbage. I've seen that. I've experienced it. It doesn't feel good to be treated like you're just a nuisance, right? You're just there to open a door for them. But if you're able to deliver value, even before you meet them, while you're there and afterwards, that's when you're able to say, or in their minds, you rank up there where you are the person they can go to trust and know and ask for advice. I had this experience just a couple of days ago. I talked to this, I had a client that was an investor, that referred me to another investor that wanted to buy some property. And that investor called me and said, hey, I'm looking at buying property. I'm doing 1031 exchange, about $2.4 million they're going to invest. And I said, great. And so I started walking through the process. He goes, oh, by the way, I already have an agent. I said, that's fantastic. I'm glad you have an agent. How about you allow me to be able to represent you in the off-market transactions that I can bring to the table? And then your agent can help you with your stuff that's on the MLS. Right away, I differentiated myself from how I can provide value to them. And I didn't discount this other person. I just said, well, this is what I can do for you. And he said, that's fine. So I met with him. I showed him a couple of properties that were off market. He loved them. And while we were driving, the hour that I spent with him, I gave him so much information, like so much stuff, that by the end of it, he's like, what agent? I'm only using you. And I just wrote 2 cash offers for over $1.05 million right now as we speak. So, and now he's now referred me to another investor that he knows. And so a lot of that isn't just me showing up and looking pretty, right? Which I do very well. It's more of the value that I can give to them with the things that I say, so that they feel like Nazar is the only source of this information, right? Yeah. It's not a simple search of, well, let me Google that real quick. Like, you're giving me value, then I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to be loyal to you.
Yeah, there's a quote that goes along with that, Nazar. And here's the quote: your success in life, this for everyone on the call, is going to be directly proportional to the amount of value you add to others. If you're just unlocking a door, you're not adding much value. You're not going to be that successful here in real estate. But like Nazar, just giving them all this information, he just picked up another probably, I don't know how many, like $1 million or $2 million in listings, right? By adding a tremendous amount of value. And I was laughing because I had this in my ear. I had a client like that, Nazar, because they were working with their cousin, right? Oh, we have an agent working with my cousin. And I did the same thing, gave them all the information. They're like, hey, we want to work with you instead. And I said, well, what about your cousin? They're going to be upset. Well, they're kind of like our cousin, but not really our cousin. Right? And totally backpedaled, right? But that's how you do it. You just, that's the knowledge bombs I was telling you about, Shauna. That's how you do that. You give them 1, 2, 3, 4, and they realize, holy crap, Shauna knows so much about this, right? More than we do. And you will slay every other realtor that they're thinking about working with instantly. I don't care if it's their cousin, their friend for a long time. At the end of the day, Shauna, you know what they want? The best possible outcome, right? We're all self-centered. As much as we like our neighbor to get the paycheck or our friend who has a real estate license, if you can prove to them you can add more value, they will forego that, because we all care about ourselves at the end of the day most. So excellent. Great job, guys. All right, I want to hit it hard here. I think I mentioned this a few times. It's going to be an early year, a lot of activity, much earlier this year. So just jump in and start writing as quick as you can. Inventory's not there, so generate some, make some, and make it happen. But it's going to be a great year as long as you stay active and busy. You're going to earn it, but you will make a lot of money this year. So all good, kids. Happy 2022. If you guys need anything, I'm always a resource. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys in a couple weeks.
Are we having a call on the 17th?
Hold on, let me ask my boss. Are we having a
Sorry.
call with Nazar's team on the 17th?
Yes, we are.
We are?
Sorry, which is one summit, the week after?
Oh, you mean the elite event?
That's the 24th. There'll still be a call because Mike is not going to be traveling.
Oh, yeah, I don't have to travel. I just have to drive down the block. So yes, we will do a call.
Okay, so we'll skip the 31st then. Okay, cool.
Correct. You got it. All right, guys, if you need help with any of this, you reach out to me. Otherwise, go put some deals together and let's make 2022 the best year ever.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Lisa.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. So long, everyone. Bye-bye.